And we're back with some more oxygen not included on Oasis, and we're getting into the space biome. Now, in not stereotypical fashion, I've done something very inefficient here and made this giant space tube elevator, space escalator. I'm going to call it an escalator. I just wanted a way to access it, and I saw one of these designs in a base loving video, and I thought, you know what, I want to do something like that. I may have overdone it on the liquid locks, but this is fully pressurized and it's linked into my main base. I've opened it up here, so it's all functional. But this allows me full access to the whole space biome at any level I want. Is it really useful and functional? A little bit, maybe, but not really. It's excessive overkill and sheer stupidity. But it was fun to make and it looks kind of cool. I'll probably have to tamper down the top of it, maybe a bit tall. I'm going to have to get some doors across there. But in the meantime, we are cutting across in these and just cleaning out this area. There's some gold amalgam I'm finding in here. I don't know if it was in here already or. One second. Ah, yes, just turn on the gold overlay or the overlay for metals, and you can see there's some gold amalgam right there. There's also some copper ore and iron. So iron, gold, and copper all seem to be present in the space biome. I think the reason for this introduction is some things could only be made with copper ore, some things could only be made with iron ore, or some things could only be made with gold. If you wanted to make oxygen using the oxalate refinery, the oxalate refinery requires gold before you can use it. There's the oxalate refinery. It consumes oxalate and gold to function. So without it, you couldn't use the intermediate petroleum-based rockets, and it really hampered your space program. However, it would seem that they've solved that problem by including just enough gold and copper in these early biomes to get you by. I think the copper is there because Atmos suits used to only be buildable with copper ore. That's no longer an issue, but I think they just left that in. Well, that's why I assume it's there in the first place. Oh, and a little side note, I've put in this shovel containment facility. Those shovels will get everywhere and they will vomit up regolith on everything. So I have this conveyor loader set to collect critter eggs. The critter eggs are, well, shovels. All shovel eggs that my duplicants find, they will immediately dump in here. They'll get dumped across in here where my duplicants can't get at them because the door is set to outbound only. And all the shovels will eventually end up in here, stopping them from going up the works of all your equipment. Trust me, this is a good idea. Get one of those up and running. As well as that, I also have a critter drop off here where I can drop off. Oh, I haven't set that. Where I can drop off all the shovels as well, because if I do find any shovels out there, I want those shovels immediately placed in here as quickly as possible. Now, to get into space, what we're going to want to do is immediately get up a space telescope. Until we get a telescope up and running, we can't even look at the stars, never mind launch a rocket. So I'm going to put in some regolith, well, a way to access the stars right here. So a quick bit of renovations later, and I managed to replace most of these with bunker doors so that we can start putting in a little bit of an item to allow us to see the sky. What we're going to need is a space telescope. And as well as the space telescope, we're going to need a space scanner. The reason for the space scanner is it allows us to automate the opening and closing of the doors, otherwise things will become problematic. So I'm going to use my old design. I'm not really going to try anything too new. It's just space has been solved a while back. And there's the start of the basic infrastructure. I'm going to start it from bottom and top. Now, see these little ladders here that go up? They're very important. Your duplicates can end up trapped up here. I'll go into more on that later, but just remember you should put in those ladders sooner rather than later, just to make sure nothing bad happens. Oh, I'm going to want to deconstruct a bunch of stuff here as well. I'll wait till... Yeah, no, I'll wait till this is just started before I do that. Any of you seen any of my previous playthroughs will recognize this old design. It has served me well. It's very simplistic, does the job and gets me all the regolith. I could start going with a redesign, but I can't think of anything that's, well, more efficient and not as ugly. Anyway, now that that's done, oh, more duplicates. I've hired a couple more duplicates because I'm training them up to be astronauts. We're going to need more duplicates to fill into the rockets. So I'm starting to train them now so that I should hopefully have them ready by the time the rocketry program comes online. Otherwise, I'm going to have to throw people through the skill scrubber. Oh, and I forgot to mention the last duplicant that I hired of the 24, that was Lister. I got a few recommendations for Lister. I think the only one I've got listed, though, as belonging to was Linear J. So thanks for that recommendation. I'd forgotten all about Red Dwarf. Okay, no, I never forget about Red Dwarf. That was a great show. Still watch it occasionally. YouTube keeps sending me clips. Now, these are the dupes that are going to be the new Rocketeers. I've got one small step for dupe, though I haven't named the rest. There's going to be at least 6 rocket dupes, so oh, I should have put them into research. That would have been a smarter plan. Nah, never mind. So, got any names for rocket duplicants? Just leave them in the comments. I'll add in the good ones, and we'll get a few duplicants named. So I need 5 names. And no more Barry, Harry, Larry, and Gary. I've already got Barry, Harry, Larry, and Gary. Anyway, I'll just finish this off. This is going to be slightly annoying though because you need an awful lot of things to get this functioning. We're going to need power. We're then going to need to get in the telescope, and then after that, we're going to need to get in an oxygen supply to feed the telescope. So we'll need water for that. There's an awful lot of infrastructure that goes into getting a decent space setup done. And this is what our finished product is going to look like. We'll have our space telescope here, our space scanner there, and we're only going to stick with one space scanner to start. Now, I'll go over the numbers on space scanners later, but it's a case of I should really have two space scanners to be 100% safe. But I'm going to take a 2% risk that the occasional meteor will slip through. I can live with that for now. Later on, I'll make it a little bit more robust. Now I've got to get up an oxygen setup because I need to pump oxygen into this. Now, I could pump oxygen all the way from down in my base, but I am going to need oxygen later on to do my rocketry program, so it's really just better off if I set up the oxygen now. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm thinking we can stick in an electrolyzer setup somewhere down in here. Yeah, out of the way of everything. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And so starts our next electrolyzer. I'm just going to go with the full Rodriguez. Might as well have all the oxygen I'm going to need for this rocketry program. But considering the amount of water I have on this map, I might... 3 kilos of oxygen might not be enough. We'll find out. Plus I can dump some water for more oxygen. Or more hydrogen, I should say. And here we have our third astronaut lined up. Another Mima. Well, we'll see how she works out. Now, I need to bring water up for this, so I'm thinking we're going to draw water from our clear water tank. The polluted water tank, the clean water tank is over here. I have 4 cool steam vents. I'll get around to taming the other 3 I haven't managed so far. That should give us plenty of water to work with. And as well as that, we've got, what was it? Yeah, all the water coming out of this system goes in there as well. So there's a little bit of excess water from that coming out. And we also have a water vent up here, so we should have plenty of water going into that. Though it doesn't seem to be rising quite as fast as I was anticipating. We'll have to see. Anyway, the polluted water tank over here I need to do something about as well. It's currently got 2 polluted water vents, 1 slush geyser, and I even have a 3rd slush geyser feeding into it as of right now. Where is it? Down here. Yeah, I'm just pumping that over through some insulated piping. It's managing to cool down the area though, which is kind of against what I was trying to do. I was kind of disappointed it gave me 2 slush geysers. I'm trying to play a hot map and it's like, oh no, here, have as much cooling as you could possibly want. You could do so much cooling with that. I think I might try using one of them to cool a steam vent or two just to show how it's done. I've never really bothered myself. I normally just throw power at problems, but it should just be a fairly simple case of dumping a polluted water tank in the correct location. Now, water-wise, yes, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to just grab a second pump out of here. I don't think... you know what? I don't think we need a second pump. We can just split off a water line here and bring that up to the top of the map. It's all 80 or 90 degree water. No one minds. And there we go. We've broken off a line, and one of the great things about not having to build insulated pipes on this map is pipes get built really, really quickly. And it takes about a quarter of the resources to build each one, so yeah, fair enough. Round that all the way up to the top of the map, hung a right there, and now I'm just going to run the thing the whole way in. And that should be it. I'm not even going to try cooling down this oxygen. We don't care. It's just going to be dumped straight into rocketry programs and other stuff. Insulated pipe might get hot in there. Let's risk it, see what happens. We'll just dump the water straight in. And I don't want to finish that off until that brick goes in. I want that brick to be replaced with some obsidian. Just a quick side note, abyssite stops shovelholes from burrowing through. So does obsidian tiles, it seems. They can't burrow through obsidian. Not just refined metals anymore, obsidian tiles seem to stop them too. Or so I have been informed. You know what, we'll continue that on there. Yeah, there we go, fine. If we lose a little bit of gas, I'm not going to cry over it. That brings in all of that. We've got our gas pipes in. Oh, one last thing, we need to dispose of the hydrogen. And dispose of, I mean we need to start stockpiling it. We're going to be using this hydrogen in our rocket program later, so why not stockpile it now while we have the chance? So all the hydrogen from this pump here will get dumped into these tanks, and it will try and go into the first tank. If that's full, it'll go to the next, all the way along. And then we can just run a gas pipe out to extract it. But for the time being, we're just looking for storage. Ooh, and since we're going to want to rev the system up to start, let's just dump it all the... Oh, damn you. We'll just dump all the oxygen out into space for the time being until we get it cleaned. Just starting up these systems is always tricky. I always get so many comments in the comments on them asking it won't clean out, the hydrogen and oxygen won't settle, all that kind of stuff. So when you're setting up one of these, always run them flat out to start. You have to, or it just won't work right. Well, you can get them working without running them flat out. It's just trickier. So this is most of the infrastructure in place. However, there was a few things I ran in the background just to to catch you up on things that, well, you're going to have to run. Well, I had to run some extremely long power cabling. So I've got some power cabling coming all the way from over here from my power spine. I'm just putting one transformer per row. I could put more, but I'm just going to try this for now, just for fun. Well, not for fun. It does look quite neat, doesn't it? But that is some long runs of cabling. I also ran some cabling up here and up to the top so I can power this whole setup up here so that we can get access to the sky, open and close the doors, that kind of thing. This whole setup here runs on 1 2 kilowatt wire, so that should be fine. This one requires slightly more than 1 2 kilowatt wire. Everything in the bottom row requires 2 kilowatts, and then this gas pump itself requires just a little bit more. So unfortunately, you can't get by with just a single 2 kilowatt wire on this design. Pity. I'm dumping all my regolith over here. I've learned from my last playthrough, do not bring your regolith into an atmosphere because it's 300 degrees. Well, some of it's going to be 300 degrees, so for the time being, it can stay out in the nice vacuum of space where it's not going to interact with anything and cause me any problems. Oh, and we're up to 4 shovels captured. Excellent. Now, I'll just skip this forward a bit until all the cabling is in place and we're ready to fire it up. How's the water? Oh, we even got our water set up. Yeah, so once this is swept out, we can fire up and get straight into working the telescope. So, water is set up, power is set up, everything is ready to go. All I have to do is plug it in. The settings on this are 250 grams for the hydrogen and 450 grams for the oxygen. That's included. I'll put that in the description just because that question always comes up. 250 for hydrogen, 450 for oxygen. Save file is also included as it with all the Let's Plays. At the end of every single one, I'll put up a save file so you can download the save and have a look around if you want to check anything yourself. Okay, and then we'll just hook this up. Done. Oh, let's bring up the gas overlays. Oh, that's almost sorted itself out instantly. Well, no, this side's still a bit wonky. Come on, give me some more hydrogen in there. And we're dumping all the gases out into space. I just got to wait until the oxygen in here gets pulled out. Why is that? Why are you not activating? Ah, above 450. Yeah, that's my bad. And you, if the pressure is above 250. Oopsie. Okay, so if the pressure is above 250 for the hydrogen and above 450 for the oxygen. Now that will start pulling out all the gases there. Eventually we'll remove all the oxygen and now we're running clean. Perfect, perfect. In that case, what we can do is we can deconstruct those high pressure gas vents. Boom. That will start the oxygen flowing up towards the top. Now, the great thing about these is once they're set up and ready to go, doesn't matter what you do. You can pull out of one oxygen tube, you can pull out of two, you can pull out of three. It will still keep functioning as normal. Oh, and this is why the Atmos sensor is on the right-hand side. The gas pump here pulls from... Oh, almost had it. 1 second. And this here is the reason why the Atmos sensor is on the right-hand side of this gas pump. Gas pumps are similar to liquid pumps in that they take from the bottom left-hand corner, they extract gas from that tile, and the one above it, below it, to the right of it, and to the left of it. So this here will still usually have some gas in it. If you put the Atmos sensor on the left-hand side, it won't function quite as well. I used to use two, but one Atmos sensor is just fine. On the bottom ones, wouldn't worry too much. Anyway, that means we've got oxygen flowing up here to our system. So now we can start examining the stars, assuming we hook up the automation to these doors. Now, I've already hooked up the power. This whole thing is running on one single wire. Is it right? Potential power consumed 1.8 kilowatts. Excellent. That just means that one wire is powering a lot of it, and the only thing I haven't hooked up is the automation wire. So let's get that going. And I think they're already built. I just haven't joined them up. Is it here? No, it's up here. There we go. Remember, if two things are right beside each other, you can connect them without any duplicate interaction. That opens the doors. Down comes the regolith. Oh, great. It's closing the doors immediately. There must be a meteor shower coming, is there? I have no idea what happened just there. Oh, and this is one of the reasons we put in those ladders. Sometimes this is duplicates. Normally the duplicates can't get up to where these mining drills are, but if there's a regolith falling down here, they can hop up on top, and then after the drills remove the regolith, they're stuck up there. I had them get sunburned twice before I realized what was going on and just built ladders at every single option. Now, another thing that needs to be done is I need to provide cooling to this so that the mining drills don't overheat. And how did the automation wire melt already? So melting point 327. Regolith doesn't go up to 327. Regolith goes up to almost 300, but not quite. Did I? So I'm just going to change out this wire for something a little bit more robust. I got to stop going with the cheapest material. I have an absolutely gargantuan amount of lead, 712 tons. Now, it was pointed out to me in the comments that I should use this to make statues. I could make statues out of this. Why not? Because I have so much lead, it'd be worth it. And I've started doing that simply because it's just that cheap. Now, let's do this all the way to there. You can go over the way to there. Perfect. For example, down here in my base, I have a whole new floor put in for the new duplicants that are going to be joining us, the new recruits. And as you can see, I put in a row of beds for them, and I've also added in a second dining area. If you notice over here, all these statues are made of lead because they give 30 plus 35 decor. Granite ones give plus 30, so there's a small boost from having them made out of lead. Not as much as say making it out of gold, which would give a really big boost, but we don't have that much gold. Anyway, this is all done up here. Now it's time to start studying the stars. Well, once the duplicants are finished with their little renovation job. You can't take the sky from me. Now that that's done, I'll just sweep this up. I want to keep this nice and clean. The telescope is not... Why are you in there? I haven't even picked anything. What the... You're not even studying anything. Well, anyway, now that we have the telescope, we can study these objects, the closest by ones. In fact, we can study all of them. There's going to be a lot all the way out. How far does that go out? Only to the 1800. 3 planets, one. Okay, that's a blank ring. By and large, it looks pretty decent. We've got a fair few planets close by. Yeah, I'm liking the look of this so far. Analyze your closest planets. The duplicate should now start actually doing something. And bear in mind, that's Doc Dupe. They are super quick. We're going to be able to analyze all the planets really quickly. Also, they're completely protected in there, and any regolith that gets in the way will immediately be demolished. There needs to be a queue system. I want to analyze all of these in a row. No, you can't. No, there needs to be a queue system because I literally will have to sit here now and tell them to keep coming back. Oh, come on. Until they stop doing whatever order they're doing, they won't come back. But yeah, they can do this for all day. Now, scan quality wise, I was going to mention that, wasn't it? Yes, it will detect incoming objects 34 seconds out. However, doors take 36 or is it 38 seconds? Somewhere between 36 to 38 seconds to close. So there is a possibility that you may not catch the doors closing in time with just one scanner. If you combine scanners and have two scanners, then you double your chances, so you'll definitely catch them. So I really could extend this on further and do more, but that would require an awful lot more effort. I just want to start making rockets. You know what I mean? People do ask me to stream occasionally, but this here is a perfect example of why I don't stream. I've decided that to set up my steam rocket right here, that I'm going to need more power, which means I'm going to expand this power grid. I want more transformers. Now I could just put down more transformers and hash it out, but I want to actually extend the power grid up, which means I'm going to have to demolish all of this, drywall it, integrate it into the rest of my base, and pressurize the whole area. Do I really need to do that? No, but I'm going to do it anyway. But on YouTube, I can just edit all of this out. You don't have to see me go through all this random junk of just expanding out stuff and you won't be screaming at your monitor going, come on, just get on with it. Build a steam rocket. Anyway, let's skip forward until we're ready to start building a steam rocket. Yeah, that was relatively painless. Only took a few cycles or so. Anywho, now we're going to put in a steam rocket right about here. I'm going to put it down as low as possible so that I can upgrade it and make it larger and more dangerous as time goes by, or just stick more science modules on it. We're going to start with bunker tiles to place it on top of, because bunker tiles are always good to place them on. They're less likely to melt. And the rocketry building begins. Now, I've just extended out these ladders here so I can put together a scaffold pretty quickly for myself. This should be more convenient for making rockets. Should. We'll see how it all works out at the end of the day. Now, I've got to put together a steam construction. Now, what I could do, of course, is I do have an industrial brick down here full of steam, and I could start siphoning steam out of that and use that steam up there. Though I then have to move that steam the entire length of the map. It's quite a long run of insulated pipes. I might just put together a quick little system here and fry up some steam. I've got a bunch... What is that? Naphtha? You know what? We will mop you up. We'll mop all of that up if we can. So I might just fry some salt water. There's some salt water nearby or something like that. I'll just boil it up and make some steam that way using an aqua tuner. Should be fairly straightforward. So this will just be my preferred method of generating a bit of steam. I'm going to fill up this tank with a bunch of petroleum. Then I'm going to use a steam thermo aqua tuner to dump chill into it. Now, chill will of course mean this whole area will heat up, generate a bunch of steam, and that steam I will just use to power my steam rockets. 2 steam rockets. I'm not building more than 2. Assuming they haven't fiddled with the research too much, I should be able to just do 2 steam rockets and then switch over immediately to petroleum. Far more efficient, far less hassle to deal with. These steam rockets are just painful. Oh, and I'm going to run an insulated gas pipe here to fuel this sucker up. Oh, and let's make sure this is set to 0 for now. We're going to fire a specific amount of steam into this. Now, what was the last thing we wanted to do? Oh yes, I need to get up to there and finish those pipes right there. Those can't be hit. Now, I'm going to set an aqua tuner here is turn on if the temperature here is below, say 120. We want to give ourselves a little bit of leeway, so that'll turn that on. And then the gas pumps, we're just going to straight turn off. I don't want them turned on until the correct temperature has been hit. But first, we got to dump in water into this, and we got to figure out how much water we're going to need. A quick look on the Oni Assistant rocket calculator, and to get a rocket with, well, 6 research modules, which is what we're going to be aiming for. I'll cover why it's going to be 6 in a minute, but you're going to want 6 research modules. We're going to send that to the 2 closest planets. That will cost us 719 kilos of steam. So we need about 1500 kilos of steam to go in here. So I'm just going to set up some bottle emptiers and dump in the correct amount of water. And then I got to remember to put the lid back on this when I'm finished. So water, enable auto bottle, copy. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, so yeah, 6, 7, 8 operations. Once 8 operations are in there, we should have enough water. I'll probably do about 9 just to be on the safe side. And I forgot to get power, didn't I? Oh yes, power as well would be an idea. Yeah, I'm going to have to break this open again just to do that, but it's fine. It's fine. I should be able to get in there before anything crazy happens. And I still have to run power from my new power spine over here. You know what? We'll grab another one of these. And that's the power cable running up there, fed into the system. Why have I got no more petroleum coming in? One moment, please. What is going on here? I can't be spending all my petroleum. That's not even possible. No offense, it's just I have a ridiculous amount. My overflow sensor is still tripped and will be until this first tank is empty. I know a quick way to resolve that issue. Quick plumbing job there should solve that. Yep, there we go. Petroleum will flow again, and that will fill up our tank upstairs. We can use that tank to dump the chill into. Now, how's this going in here? Ooh, there's a bunch of regolith in there, and that's heating the water already. That's not... Well, I don't want you flashing it to steam just yet. I've got to get the water in first. How much water have we got in there now? 100 kilos. 1, 2, 3. That's only 400 kilos. Nope, I need a lot more. A lot more water in there. We now have plenty of water. I'm just going to seal this sucker in, and then we can dump water into the aqua tuner. Aqua tuner will kick in and start generating, well, generating heat in here. Well, that's not really true. It moves heat around more than anything else. We'll be moving cold into the petroleum and heat into the water. Anyway, for that, I'm going to need, well, some kind of coolant to go through it. I'm thinking polluted water should be fine. Same thing again. I'm just going to use a bottle emptier down here to dump in a bunch of polluted... Oh, I forgot something, didn't I? I need some drywall back here. I almost did the same thing up here and up here. Drywall first. Let's make that a priority 6 down here. Yeah, get some drywall in there before any polluted water I've requested disappears into the vacuum of space. Come on, quickly. Oh, fine, you were just a delivery dupe. Grand. Oh, just in time maybe? I think I got most of it. Yeah, once that's done. I think we've got just enough water here. Yeah, we got 88 grand. Then in that case, we will just hook up the plumbing by dumping the liquid across here. And this should be fairly straightforward. Let's hope we have enough petroleum. Yeah, we got plenty of petroleum. And it's pretty warm as well. Wow, okay, that got hot. It's the regolith that's in there. And petroleum starts flowing through. Why is that not on? If the temperature is below 120? Above? Below. There we go. Just took a second to kick in. You know what? I'm not even going to bother getting more. It will heat it up soon enough. How is the temperature in there dropping? That makes no sense. 101, 101.2, 1.5, 1.7. Yeah. It will flash to steam soon enough. There we go. Perfect. Once the temperature in there gets to about 120, I'll start pumping it into the rocket. I don't really need to get it up to 120. I'd prefer to just have it warmed up a little bit more. I'll probably No, I'll wuss out and I'll probably be impatient and dump it in about 105. This could go. Once that's gone, yeah, we're about 105. That's fine. You know what? We will stop you at 105. 10. You know what? We'll keep you warmed up for when the rocket comes back. 110 is perfect. Then we just turn on the gas pumps. Oh, yes, I forgot to set this. We want to set this to 719. 719. 719. That way we don't overfill it any more than we have to. Turn on this. There we go. And then we wait for 719 seconds, which is a cycle and a bit. It's 600 seconds in a cycle, and it's going to take 719 seconds to fill this. So yeah, let's just skip a little bit, shall we? The rocket is now almost completely fueled. While it was busy refueling, I set up a quick space scanner here. The space scanner is set to detect the rocket, and then it sends an automation signal up to the doors to open them. Well, when the rocket's coming back, it will send an automation signal to open the doors when the rocket returns. Not to launch it. To launch it, I've got this little hydro sensor here. I can set that to below, and that will allow the rocket to, that will open the doors so the rocket can leave. This here is just the gantry for letting the astronaut on. And as for the astronaut, who will be the lucky dupe heading off into space? Well, I was, of course, way too slow about getting a dupe up and running, so instead I skill scrubbed one of our current dupes. And it was aptly enough Lister that got the scrubbing to go on. Now we can get Lister straight into rocketry. There you go, Lister, straight to space. Very handy, that skill scrubber. Anyway, that will assign Lister to the space capsule. Where are you? Yeah, there we go. Once Lister is on board, we can launch the rocket. Now, I'm pretty sure that will withdraw the gantry even if it's not powered. It just takes a little bit longer. I'm not really too worried. This is going to be launched twice. This is a very rough system. Oh, there we go. Lister's on board. Perfect. Withdraw the gantry. It'll think about it. I don't know if those withdraw if there's no one there. I know a quick way, actually. We'll just deconstruct that. That's fine. Anyhow, open the doors. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 research modules, all mounted on one steam rocket, all ready to go. We are going to click Show Star Map and select a destination. We have two choices. We've got the carbon asteroid and we've got the carbon asteroid. Yeah, which one? We'll take carbon asteroid for $100. Now, launch the mission. There we go. Then immediately close the doors, just so that those asteroids don't come back and cause us any problems. There we go. Now, when that rocket comes back, this will detect that it's coming and open the doors for us automatically, so it won't smash through our bunker doors. Theoretically. The downside of these systems is without a naked scanner, you're kind of in trouble. Well, you can be in trouble. This will detect the rocket coming back 34 seconds before it arrives, but the only reason it's detecting it is because this scanner over here can detect it, and oh my, how did that happen? That shouldn't even be possible. And I've got overheat damage as well. I have to install a cooling solution for these. But the space scanner is detecting it depending on this space scanner for the quality. So if this space scanner has any problems, well, or as in there's meteors coming in, so it closes the doors, then this scanner has no quality either. It's rare enough. You'd require your rocket to be returning during the middle of a meteor shower. It will happen very infrequently. You could go hundreds of cycles with it never happening. I just prefer to cover myself in case of issues. Now this, you know what? We don't need any more petroleum in there. We've got all the heat we need. That's steam rockets. Now, the reason we're doing steam rockets in that order, oh God, I hate that zoom in. Let's see, where is it? We want to get our hands on all of the research down here. So the first thing we want to get our hands on is where is it? Fuel, combustion. We want liquid fuel tanks and we want solid oxidizers. I could have switched those around. The reason being liquid fuel tanks and solid oxidizers will allow us to use petroleum. Petroleum rockets can allow us to reach further and research further away planets. After we get those, we'll get cargo modules, and cargo modules will allow us to bring back resources. Those are the first two you are going to get. Then you will get cryofuel and then probably liquid and gas canisters and all the rest. These ones are not nearly as important as having liquid fuel tanks and hydrogen and solid cargo. So it's hydrocarbon combustion first, solid cargo second, then cryofuel third. And solid fuel combustion doesn't really have a purpose. Well, it does. It's just it would really depend on what kind of text you got. Now, missing research station. Yes, I need to build the last research station. There is one other research station you need to build when you're doing these things, and I don't have it built yet because I never needed it and won't until the ship comes back with the research points. And here it is, the virtual planetarium. It allows you to use the research points that come back in the data banks from the planets that you visit. Perfectly handy. Now, conductive wire, give me some lead. We don't need anything fancy down in the base. Oh, heat-wise down in the base, things are getting interesting. You'll notice this giant pool of heat over here. Why is that so hot? Well, it's to do with molten larvae. Not so much the eggs, but the critters themselves when they hatch. Molten larvae, when they're born, are born at a temperature of about 165 Celsius. This is causing things over here to get very warm. It's 71 degrees. We're getting close to scalding point. I'm going to have to move this outside the base. However, I wanted to get rockets done first, so I'll do it off screen. But yes, it turns out molten slicksters are born at over 160, so you need to move them. You can't put them in a drowning pool in the middle of your base. It's generating so much heat. It's ridiculous. The rest of my base is all at about 40 degrees or so, the expected temperature. So some of the minor plants are not surviving so well, though my trees up here are doing incredibly well. Back to rocketry. We'll just skip this forward until the rocket has returned. And the doors have opened automatically. I've got a bunch of regolith down here to prove it. Well, not to prove it so much as that's how I figured out it was coming back. And it should be returning shortly. We're at 96%, so yeah, 0.1 of a cycle. So it should land automatically, and then we'll get some science modules at last. I'll just skip this forward a bit. Boom. Ooh, and we even got a teapot. So we've got a teapot and all the data banks we could possibly want. This is the last and most important thing I'll cover on data banks. When it comes to exploring the star map, you will notice here we have all these different things you can select. Oh, second, we have to switch planets. You can see I have all these things you can tick off. Every time you tick one of these off, you get 50 points. So that's 250 research points for that. We'll get another 250 for these. You get to tick one of them off for every research module you send. So you could send one research module and send it 5 times and get them all, or just send 5 all at once and get to tick off the lot of them, which is the preferred method. However, research modules on their own will also generate 10 points. So we're sending 6 research modules. They'll generate 60 points just for existing. Along with the other 250, that gives us 310 points. There's method to the madness of doing this, basically to do with the research. We'll get enough points out of the 2 planets to knock out both of these. It's 600 points to get both of these. We'll get 620. However, you have to send 6 research modules. If you send 5, you'll get a rounding error. And what'll happen? Well, that's what happened to me last time. I sent 5 research modules, and I had about 599 point something research points, and I was just a fraction short, so it wouldn't let me finish the research, meaning I had to send a third steam rocket to get them. So just give yourself 6 research modules, launch 2 rockets, and then you can rip down your rocket and be done with it. Oh, your steam might crack in the pipes if you put it through too cold. That's why I tried to heat it up to 110. In between launches, there's usually enough heat left in the steam to not crack in the pipes. Anyway, once this is done, we can launch the rocket again, but this time we'll be sending it off to this planet. Though I gotta really make sure to do that. Anyway, before I cut this out, because I think we only got steam rockets covered, but we also got telescopes covered and, automated regolith clearing, though I still have to put in a cooling solution for that. Next episode, baby steps. I'm putting in just a little kill pool here for our evolution chamber that will do larvae because the heat in my main base is starting to get a little bit ridiculous from all of that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our little trip down rocketry and this space escalator that I stole from, damn it, I can't remember which base it was. But anyway, hope you enjoyed and good luck.